this computer. All right. So good morning and welcome.
Morning.
Good morning. So glad you're here for our first basic meditation and mindfulness class. And I'm Eleanor, and I kind of want to think of myself, or I'd like to think of myself as a guide for the next about 30 minutes is what we'll be spending here this morning, going over basic meditation and mindfulness. Pretty simple title for the class. I wanted to ask if anyone, Mari, if anyone, oh, I'm going to let Cindy Most in because she said she was coming. Hey, Cindy.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. Welcome.
Hi.
Hi. Okay. Oh, wow. There you are. Okay. Just so you know, I'm just telling Mari, who's here, that we're recording this to have it put on the virtual thing. So
there you go.
All right. Anyways, I was just welcoming to this first basic meditation and mindfulness class. Cindy, I'm glad you're here. And I was just asking if there was anyone that has never meditated or doesn't really even know what meditation is. Mari, I'm going to go ahead and put you on the spot. Have you ever meditated before, Mari?
Oh, I'm sorry. I have attempted it, but again, it's something that I'm not used to, and because of the times that we're living in now, I think it's something that I need to start implementing. It's been very stressful, and I need to pass along also these strategies to my staff, and because they're also stressed out, and so I want to be not the guru, but just to have something underneath my belt for myself first, but then also to pass along.
Right. Oh, I'm such a great response, because that's really what I wanted this class to be. Cindy, I know, has meditated because we have meditated in the past together, but that's really what my passion was for this class, was just to offer some basic knowledge about what meditation and mindfulness is, because it has, it's been part of my life, roller coasting it for many years, but it's really been beneficial to me, especially in these trying times. And I've also had some other personal trying times, and I've just been really leaning into it, and it's been so helpful, and I wanted to share it. I'm going to admit one more person. I so apologize. Good morning. She's connecting to her audio. Good morning. All right, well, I'm going to continue. So anyways, that was really my purpose of this class, and not just to share what I feel like is so valuable and beneficial, but also to help, deepen my practice, because the more you're in groups, or the more you talk about these things, the more it, solidifies. It is a habit. It is a way that you can incorporate into your life. And what I wanted to talk about was the differences between meditation and mindfulness, because a lot of times the words are used interchangeably, and they're two different things. So meditation is a practice, and mindfulness is a quality. So meditation is a practice that you do where you focus on you use a technique like focusing on the breath. And then that can produce some qualities, one of them being mindfulness. So they are two different things, and we're going to talk about both. And they're both, they go together very well, because like I said, the meditation over time, it is a practice. It's something I've done for years. And it's like anything else with health or taking care of ourselves. It's not, you do it for a month, or you do it for even a year, and then boom, you're cured or whatever. It's an ongoing thing. It's been compared to gardening. You're never done gardening. You're just constantly maintaining and keeping up the garden, and that's what this is. So that's exactly Good. I think this will be beneficial. Whether you have meditated or not, I think the things that we'll talk about, it is beneficial because, like I said, it's just an ongoing practice. And I really feel that over time, it can really cultivate just more spontaneous mindfulness in your life, which is obviously what we need. We need to stop and slow down, calm down, because if you have a calm mind, you have time. I love that saying, and it's true, because the more crazy scattered you are, the less time you have. So I think that's the big benefit of it. The other thing I wanted to go over is that you always hear people say meditation's too hard, I can't do it, my mind is too busy, I can't do it. It's no way that I can get all these thoughts out. And the number one thing I really want to emphasize here, that if you just one takeaway from this, is that that's not what meditation is. Meditation is not getting rid of thoughts. I can't do that. I don't know too many people that can. There's probably a handful of monks somewhere that are real good at it. But our human mind is just, we're wired to think. We're made to think. We're thinking for survival. So thinking is not a bad thing. It's when we're constantly lost in thought and just gone and not at the present moment and not taking care of what's important because we're just constantly in thought. So I want to let you know that what meditation is not the thinking. That's part of meditation. That's part of the practice. It's when you notice that you're thinking, and then you take that thought, and as best you can, you let it go. So that's really the process of meditation. So it's not getting rid of the thought. It's not that thoughts are bad or that you shouldn't be thinking. It's that you're trying to notice that you're thinking, and then you let the thought go as best you can. So depending on the thought or feelings or how you're sitting, for me anyways, sometimes I can let a thought go. It's not a big deal. And other times it's like that thought does not want to go. But you do the best you can. And that's where the practice, that's where the benefit of that will come in. So, and I want you to know that meditation, I think of it as the word flower. Okay, so we know what a flower is. That's what meditation is. There's tons of different flowers, just as there are different types of meditation. What we're going to do today, we're going to do a 10-minute meditation, it's just your basic breathing meditation. It's the most common, and if you've heard anything about meditation, you've probably heard about breathing, because we're all breathing. It's pretty simple. It's right here. I really want to keep this simple. That's why I called it basic, because the more simple something is, the more apt you are to apply it to your life and use it. If it's going to be complicated, if you're going to make a big ritual out of it, it doesn't work. It really, really doesn't work. All right, so I'm going to kind of go over the process of how we're going to do this meditation. So before I get into that, I wanted to ask if you guys had any questions or thoughts that kind of what I've gone over so far. Anyone? No? All right, I'll continue. So the process for this 10 minutes we're going to do, and I didn't want to do too long, and really, I personally don't meditate more than 15 or 20 minutes at a sitting. I like 20 minutes because it takes a little bit for me to settle down a little bit. But when I was out of my practice, like I said, it goes up and down in life, just like everything else. I brought it back with a shorter time, just so it was doable, just so I could get into the habit of doing it. But basically, the first thing I wanted to talk about was our posture. So I don't see you guys, but as far as posture, we're going to be sitting. And I highly recommend sitting in a chair or something comfortable, unless you're comfortable on the floor. I'm sitting on a bolster in my bedroom right now, and it's just comfortable for me. This is how I've sat for years and years. I am comfortable, so I'm fine on the floor. But the number one thing is comfort. That's a misconception. I think sometimes people think they have to sit rigid back. Feel free to support your back as well. You don't want to slump over, but you do want to feel supported. If that helps you, you want to be comfortable, because if you're going to sit there for 10 minutes and all you can think about is your back is bothering you, that's kind of a repetitive thought that we're trying that's not what we're going to be focusing on. So you want to be comfortable. The second thing will be, And as far as laying down, people sometimes will lay down for meditation. That's not something I want to recommend at this point for what we're doing. Laying down meditation can be great for some guided sleep meditation because it tends to signal to your body that you're going to go to sleep. So we want to be alert. We don't want to be all like woozy and gone. You know, we're alert, we're meditating, we're upright, we're comfortable, but we've got a nice erect spine. Eyes are generally closed because there's distraction, but if that's something you're really adverse to, then you can have your eyes slightly open and just bring your gaze forward and down, just like on a spot, so that you can keep distractions to a minimum. And then your hands, you can just place them in your lap, palms up on your thighs. You just want to relax your shoulders and your hands. And then just relax your whole body as best as you can. So posture, that's the one thing. And then you can, let's see, I made some notes to make sure I didn't forget. Okay, so then what I'm going to talk about, what we're going to focus on, our technique for this breathing meditation is our breath. So we're going to focus on the breath going into our body and going out of our body. We're going to let the breath do what it naturally wants to do. We're not going to force it. We're just going to let it relax and just kind of do its own thing. What I do want you to pay attention to is your bodily sensation of where the breath is entering and leaving your body. So that might be your nostrils. You might feel the air, the cool air go in and the warm air go out. That might be where it's most prominent for you. It might be your chest rising and falling as it goes in. I personally use my belly. I feel my belly expand and empty as I breathe. That's just where it's most prominent for me. So you want to pick the one feeling, and that's your anchor. So I do that. I kind of call it making the anchor a little heavier, because okay, we've got our breath, but at least we've got that body feeling it's a little more tangible, because it's hard. It's hard hard in the sense that our mind, is going to go. So this anchor, it gives I'm sure you've heard the reference monkey mind, which we've all probably experienced, where you're just like spinning. It's like all these thoughts, and a lot of times they're the same thoughts. It's like, really, again, it's like, just not productive. So this anchor, I like to think of as, it's a little job for your monkey mind. You're going to feel the breath come in and you're going to feel the breath come out. All right, so we have our posture, we have our anchor, we're meditating, and you're going to have a thought. You're going to think, you're going to have a thought. It's 100% guaranteed, and it's not bad. I want you to just think of that. It's like, okay, this is part of the good. This is good. This is good. Then you're going to notice the thought eventually, and then you will let that thought go as best you can. And when I say let that thought go, that doesn't mean it's completely out of your mind, although that's what you'd like it to do. You're just going to not fuel it. You're not going to feed it. You're not going to spin it. Whatever we do with those thoughts that makes it worse. I mean, it's one thing when you're working on something and you need to think about something. That's different. I'm talking about these things that we're not doing this right now. So you're just going to let it go, and you're going to go back to your anchor. So that's really the cycle of your meditation, and you'll do it 1,000,000 times, however many times you do it. It's all good. You've got your anchor, your breath that you're noticing in and out of your body. You're going to think. You're going to notice your thinking, and then you're going to let the thought go as best you can, and then you're going to come back to the anchor. That's your cycle. And there's one and also if there's a noise, it's pretty quiet in my house, but if there's a noise, you're going to regard that as a thought, because, if there's a dog barking or a car horn or something's going on, you notice it and you let it go and you go back to the anchor. So actually noises, when you meditate, if you meditate on your own, which I'm hoping you can take some of this and maybe try it on your own, it's okay. You don't have to have this perfect quiet house, this perfect quiet place. You just need to, have as minimal distractions as you can, and then just go with it. So the last thing I want to mention before we start our meditation is you do this with kindness. You do this with as much patience to yourself as you can, because we're just prone to kind of like, I can't believe I'm thinking about that again, or can't believe I can't clear my head, or I can't believe this or that. and that's normal, but you just, and notice that if that's how you're treating yourself, just say, hey, wait a minute, this is part of the meditation. It's all good. It's all good. Whatever is happening in these 10 minutes is going to be good. So I am going to, any questions before we start? I think I was pretty clear on that, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a timer, and then I'll kind of talk us into how to just kind of get comfortable and stuff. And then we're going to meditate for 10 minutes. It's going to start with a bell. So you're going to hear a bell at the beginning, and then what you'll hear is a gong at the end of the 10 minutes. Okay. And I'm not going to have an interval bell there. And so, okay. So I'm going to start with the bell. So let's go ahead and get comfortable. Kind of just check out the body, relax the hands, and then go ahead and close your eyes. Unless you want to keep them slightly open, that's fine too, but draw your gaze forward and down on something. Well, let's take a deep breath together just to kind of settle in. Inhale, and just exhale it all out. And now let the breath settle, and let the breath do what it needs to do without control. And go ahead and notice as your breath enters and leaves your body. Notice where you feel it most prominently, and use that as your anchor as you inhale and exhale. Just relax. Notice your body as it connects either with the chair or with the ground. Maybe notice your feet touching the ground, wherever it connects. And just relax your face, relax your jaw. You can rest your tongue against the back of your teeth. Maybe notice your arms and your hands. Notice if there's any tension in your body, and if there is, just try to release it as best you can. And then notice your thinking. And then just let that thought go and go back to your anchor. And do this with as much patience as you can. And just keep repeating it each time you notice your thinking. So I hope you enjoyed that 10 minutes. Um, but even if you didn't, or it wasn't exactly what you're expecting, I just want to remind you that it is a practice and that this is something we're not comfortable or used to doing, noticing all these thoughts and then not following them or not, oh, yes, but this is important. A lot of times important stuff will come up and it's hard to let it go. And it's not that you're going to not ever attend to those thoughts. They're just not right now. And that's the practice. And that's what helps in your life, because there's times where you need to focus. You need to not be caught up in all those thoughts. So I think that's where I find the benefit anyways, to help just slow it down, put things a little in perspective. Does anyone want to make any comments, or does anyone have questions about what they experienced that we might want to talk about a little bit? And if not, that's fine.
I could say something. It
Okay.
was good practice because I'm out of practice.
Yeah.
I've been trying again to not only start meditating again, but work on my mindfulness.
Yeah.
And setting my intentions every morning and staying focused. But I like the anchor analogy because I found myself not only going down the rabbit hole on a thought, but I was holding my breath. And so I was like, wait, go back to the anchor. And so that was helpful.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny how, yeah, I'll be tense. I'll be, why am I clutching things? It's, and you're noticing it. That's the secret sauce to meditation, is the noticing. That's where the benefit comes. Everyone thinks it's getting rid of the thoughts. It's just noticing them and then doing what you can to get rid of them.
Yeah. Thanks.
Mari, how did you enjoy that?
I want to agree with Cindy. I tend to find myself wandering with all these thoughts or the noises that I heard, and just going back to that anchor. So that's, I'm really glad that you went through the whole process of just noticing where your feet are, noticing what's touching your skin, breathing in and out, and letting go of that thought and just focusing back on that anchor again. I mean, I thought that was a great analogy that you brought up. So thank you. I really enjoyed it. I'm like, is the 10 minutes up? I'm like, no. Just focus.
How long 10 minutes can be,
Yeah.
Of course, we're all sitting here in front of our computer too, but it is funny how so I wanted to that's wonderful. I'm so happy you guys had that experience and that you like the anchor, because I do think it's very simple. It's just we make it complicated, and it seems complicated, but it is hard to keep it into I go through my phases of it. It's so human, we know what's good for us, and we have a hard time getting into it. But once you get into a habit, and that's why even if you just do 5 minutes, I just wanted to really quickly go over the timer that I used. It was called Insight Timer, INSIGHT. It's a free app. They have guided meditations on there, which is kind of a nice way to get into meditation as well. But I do recommend doing this quiet where you're just with yourself, because I think that you get a little more practice of the letting go. With the guided, you're kind of focused on what they're saying and stuff. And guided's good though too. There's a good place for everything. But with this timer, you can also set a little ambient sound to kind of just have like some background noise, which I use sometimes. It also has little timers that you can put in, like, let's say you're doing a 15 meditation. Every 5 minutes, it'll give you a little bell just to kind of either bring you back or help you a little bit with where the heck are we in this time frame. So I highly encourage you to just try it for 5 minutes. I do it after I brush my teeth in the morning. I kind of linked it with that habit, and it's been going pretty good. Like I said, since COVID, I've been really kind of leaning on it. I also wanted to recommend one book. I thought it would be nice to recommend things because there's a great author and a pioneer in mindfulness and meditation called John Kabat-Zinn. And his book is Wherever You Go, There You Are. Super, it's like 20 years old, super good on mindfulness and meditation and how to just incorporate it into into your life. And like I said, if you practice meditation, the quality of that mindfulness, it cultivates more of that. I mean, it takes time. It's not going to happen right away. So if you guys want to email me with any questions or anything, my email is meditatewitheleanor@gmail.com. And I guess the last thing that I wanted to just give you a tip on how to do a good mindfulness tip, and you guys might have heard about this or not, but so mindfulness is that quality. And so what you can do is take an activity, kind of a mindless activity, maybe washing the dishes or doing the laundry. I do it when I walk the dogs every morning. Is set a timer or just set a start to finish. When I start the dishes and when I finish the dishes, I'm going to do that definition of mindfulness, which is bringing awareness to the present moment on purpose, non-judgmentally. So you bring that kindness back into it. So you're washing the dishes, you'll say, oh wow, there's all this soap, I like the smell, the water's kind of warm, maybe noticing the pattern on the dish, maybe noticing if somebody walks into the kitchen, just being super, and then it's like meditation. You'll have some thoughts and things you have to do, and you'll just let them go, and you'll go back to whatever it is you're doing. So that's kind of a nice way to do a little meditation, mindfulness during the day. So that'll be my tip. All right, well, is there any other questions for this morning?
No, just thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much for coming. I really enjoyed this, and this is going to be a developing, evolving class, so we'll see how it goes. But I encourage you guys to meditate and let me know how it goes, okay?
Thank you.
Eleanor.
All right, you guys have an awesome day and stay strong out there.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.